welcome to Swim Chats, a podcast about swimming. I'm Shona Riddell, a writer and swimmer from Wellington, Aotearoa, New Zealand. For each episode, I talk to a different guest from our global swim community. Please hit follow so you don't miss an episode. To support the podcast, you can leave a rating on Spotify or a review on Apple Podcasts, which helps other people discover it. If you're a regular listener, please help me to keep running Swim Chats by subscribing on Patreon for $5 a month. You get previews of upcoming guests, the chance to ask questions, and lots of good karma. To find out more, visit patreon.com/swimchats. There's a link in the episode description. Nicola, welcome to Swim Chats. It's great to have you on the podcast.
It's lovely to be here.
I'm looking forward to this chat. I think we've got several overlapping interests, swimming being one of them, obviously.
Yeah.
First, congratulations on your beautiful book. I picked up a copy when it was published. Was it last year, late last year?
In October last year, I think it was.
Yeah, I think I bought it for myself as an early Christmas present.
Lovely, we like that.
Yeah. So if this were a video podcast, I would hold it up, but it's an audio podcast, so I will read the title. It's called Jump In, an insider's guide to New Zealand's best beaches, lakes, rivers, pools, and hot springs. And it's sorry, what were you going to say?
No, just that's the one. Well done.
Oh, that's all. And it's full of beautiful photos.
Yes.
All sorts of great swimming spots around the country. And I saw that it's just been released in the US and Canada as well, so that's exciting.
Yeah, that was very exciting news. Yeah,
And it makes sense.
I think especially because, my writing, I really specialise in New Zealand stories, so something that I never expected to happen.
International market, nice.
Yeah, really
and
cool.
makes sense because people come to New Zealand, so they will want to know where to swim. But also, a lot of people are armchair travellers, right?
That's it.
And they want to look at nice pictures of places.
I had this really amazing message from a guy on my work social media, and he's an English guy living in New York, and it was the middle of summer here, and he and his partner had just been to New Zealand on holiday, and they'd spent, I think, 3 or 4 weeks just travelling around, doing a lot of swimming, and he'd picked up the book at the airport on his way home, and he sent me a photo of sort of snowy New York out the window and was like, "It's your fault. We're planning a trip to come back."
Oh, that's awesome. It's so nice to hear from readers, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Otherwise, sometimes you feel like you're writing to a quiet
and I
group
think
of people and you don't know what people are thinking.
that's it. And I think, I work away in my home office, and oftentimes the only people you hear from are grumpy.
Yeah.
So it's really, getting that positive feedback's been so lovely.
It's really nice, isn't it?
Especially
Just
with
makes
this
it
book.
interactive.
Especially with because, I've written quite a lot, but with this book especially, because it's swimming's such an important part of my life, that there felt like there was just a lot more on this for me, that people liked it.
Yeah, a personal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
It took
I
the
get that.
publisher about 4 or 5 years to convince me to write it.
Oh, well, yeah, I was going to ask you how the book came about. Was it your publisher's idea or was it your idea?
Yeah, I mean, I'd sort of been thinking about it, but then I would go, "Oh, no, that's work. I'm not gonna no." And then Alex, the publisher, who is also a swimmer, just did his first Rangitoto crossing in the weekend, which was pretty cool. He'd been asking me, and I kept saying, "No, no, no, swimming's my not work thing." And I went in for a meeting with him one day about something else. And he said, "Oh, publishing committee have approved this." And he brought out some beautiful sample spreads. And I was like, "Oh, they look good." And he said, "Yeah, well, if you don't want to do it, I'll get someone else." And I just looked at him and said, "You bastard."
Putting you on the spot, yeah. It's like, of course I'm going to do it.
I know. I was like, if I can't let anyone else do it.
No, it's your topic, yeah. And I was thinking, it sounds like a dream assignment to, swim and write and do a bit of travel, possibly around the country.
Yep.
But I imagine behind the scenes, there are also a lot of logistics to manage, like the travel and the weather and access to certain waterways and the rest of your life. Was it
Yeah.
a juggle?
It was quite funny because when I agreed to do it, I kind of sat down and made a big list of, because I mean, I've swum all my life pretty much. So I kind of made a big list of, I usually work like with something like this. I had a map of the North Island, map of the South Island, and plotted on them all the places I'd already swum and what, whether I thought that they were goers, and kind of had this list. And then that was quite handy, because then I go, okay, well, these are the places I need to go because I haven't swum in those areas. Um, so, and quite, I mean, that's the great thing about the swim community is I've got friends all over the country, so I could just go, hey, I'm going such and such. Where shall I, So that was a cool thing. The, there's quite a lot of photos of lovely places with no people in them because I was swimming in them in like September. So that was that was kind of fun. Um, but yeah, it was. I think I think it was the editor said to me, Sarah said to me, look, one of the things she loved about the book is because it feels like it's a community thing, and I think it really was. Like, so many of my friends came with me on little missions to go and check out places, and I'm incredibly lucky to have some friends who are amazing photographers, and everyone just really got excited about it, and it was so much like, we had so much. There was a lot of work, there was a lot of logistics, there was a lot of, going, "Okay, can I put that in? Is that" a few places I went to and just went, No." But, when I look at it now, I sort of think, "Oh, yeah, I went there with that friend," or so it was just, yeah, we just had a lot of fun.
It's cool. Swimming really brings people together, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and, the funny thing about it is that, one of the things that I kind of really loved when I got into doing more events and stuff is that it's kind of such an introvert sport at the same time, where you kind of chat on the start line, then you just get out there and talk to very few people.
Yeah,
Well,
that's definitely part of what I like
my
about it. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
mix of social and alone time, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, one of my friends who I swam with in the early years was proud of me when I did my first Five Bridges River swim without stopping to chat to any of the people on water support.
You're just focused.
But I
Or
think
yep,
that, I don't know, that community around it is just such a cool one.
it's so important. It's such a big part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really like with the book how, you're sort of profiling each swim spot and you've got the details about, whether you can park, like the logistical side,
Mm,
can I bring dogs? Can I bring kids? But also like your description really gives a feel for what it's like to arrive there. Because
cool.
that's part of it as well, right? Before you get in just seeing it, because
Yeah,
there's such beautiful spots
yeah.
and practical information on even just how to get there because they're not always easy to find, right?
That's it. I think I sort of tried to, because there are a few places that I really wanted to put in, and then I kind of thought, how do I even explain how to get there? And I thought, well, if I can't explain it, then people are I don't want people getting lost, and like there's a certain amount of having to be aware of that space and how many people can access it. So, I made sure that there's kind of ample parking, and that they're not on big, because there was like, what was the one? There was one in Fiordland that I really wanted to include, and then I thought, man, people aren't going to trek up that massive big hill. I wanted to make it accessible, as accessible to as many people as possible.
Yeah, that's
So
really
I
cool.
think that kind of came into it. One of my favorite swimming holes, which is a top secret one, I was like, I can't, because it's a high country walk across paddock is, you just can't. So some might accuse me of gatekeeping on that one, but
Is there potential for a sequel, like hard to access but rewarding swim spots?
oh, there's a couple of people I've just said, hit me up. I'll tell you.
Was there anything in particular that surprised you when you were writing the book? Like, were there any unexpected swim experiences?
So many,
Oh, really?
so many. Like there were places that I didn't expect anything of. There was, in the going across on state. Oh, what's the the main road to get between Gisborne and Pukaki. And we were going along the river, and I'd been told about a couple of, like, on the main road there, a couple of spots on the river, and we couldn't find them. So we pulled into this little dock campsite where there was a stream that came down, and it's like a little stream, and goodness knows the state of it now after all the storms, but it's just this little stream. There was a historic bridge at the end of it, and anyone that knows me knows I'm a nerd for a historic bridge. But this, you could just hop in, and kind of the stream would just take you down, and then you'd hop out and walk back up. And I must have done it 5 or 6 times, and it was just, sometimes you just have a swim that's kind of it was a really warm day. We were on quite a long drive, and it just was perfect. Like, it was just really perfect.
Yeah.
And on any other day that might not that selection of kind of things might not have happened, and it might not have been, but man, it was just so mint. And
Exactly right for that day.
yeah, we had
Yeah.
a couple of times where we had triumph in the face of adversity. Me and my friend Theo went down to Taranaki for a weekend, and just lots of things conspired against us, including the weather, road closures, and all sorts of things. And I've been told about a lake, and we drove way up there, and there was just jet skis everywhere. And I was like, oh, I'm not getting in. It was beautiful, but I was just like, no. And then we went into beautiful Kinner design store in New Plymouth, and I just got chatting to the woman in there, and she said, "Oh, have you been to um, the Waifakaiho River?" And I was like, "I don't even know where that is." And she said, "Oh, well, you go up to Tupaki, which is this amazing Tupari, sorry, amazing heritage homestead, which is owned by the council and is just like arts and crafts, like 1930s, absolutely, with these beautiful, beautiful grounds. And there's a swimming hole just at the bottom of the grounds. So we explored the grounds then, and there's like free barbecues there, and like it just was this incredible spot that, had I not just sort of said to the woman in the shop, "Hey, where would you, as a local, where would you recommend?" It was just so gorgeous. So it was like, lots of that, just those sort of, little meant to be moments, I guess.
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
local knowledge that,
Yeah,
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 like
really
you say, you
important.
wouldn't know about it otherwise, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Really important. On the flip side of that, I had, my friend Jane, who lives in Oamaru, when we went down with stayed with her. We did a day where we went from Oamaru to Fairlie, and we swam. That was our record, 7 swims in a day. And then she took me out to this amazing it was such a cool, um, swimming hole out on the Kakanuri River. Beautiful. Everything you would want in a sort of an hotel. It had the lovely big schist rocks, and they were really warm, and there was kids playing, and it was just gorgeous. And then when I came home to write about it, it sort of said, "Oh, not really recommended for swimming because one of the South Island's biggest seagull colonies nests just upstream." So I was
Well,
like, "Oh, stink."
no, it's good you didn't hear that any earlier.
Yeah, I know. But it was, when I found it, by that stage, it was clear that I hadn't got sick, and we'd had a nice time, so.
So we that's good. You mentioned earlier that you live in Auckland now,
Mhm.
so and the water there, sort of relatively speaking, is fairly mild.
Yes.
How do you find swimming in the colder parts of the country?
Well, the benefit of for me is the fact that I'm from Invercargill. So I've swum year round in Auckland for the last, I don't know, probably 8 or 10 years, I suppose. Last couple of years, I've just swum skins all year round, but the water doesn't get down to sort of, I don't know, it probably gets down to 12 or 13. So it's
It's still
manageable.
pretty
When
fresh. Yeah,
when where I grew up, I don't know that it ever got over 12 or 13.
very different.
Yeah, yeah. So, I grew up. we we used to bike out to Oreti Beach after school and swim, and I grew up I was my dad's family all from Central Otago, so, it was just that summers we would just be in the river or in the lake or in the creek or in the dam or wherever I was just that kid that would find the water and get in it.
Yeah.
Um, I realise now that there's quite a lot of childhood photos of me just looking like I've fallen in the water and miserable.
Yeah, wet hair.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, just, yeah, my parents used to always have extra clothes in the car because they knew I'd do it.
they were prepared. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So the cold water doesn't really worry me too much. I was down in Wanaka, when was that? Last August, and we went for a walk with I have 2 good friends called Jane, Oamaru Jane and Wanaka Jane, and I was out for a walk with Jane there and, accidentally had my togs on and hopped in the river and had a swim with the, snow on the mountains, and it's
Wow,
beautiful.
would be beautiful.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
noticed that you included, is it St. Bathans in the book,
Yes,
where
Blue
the
Lake.
New Zealand, ice swimming championships
Yes.
happen, and there are a few Wellingtonians who like to go down each year and do
I
some swims.
I'm
Have you tempted?
uh, I can
I'm not, so I'm not putting you on
I'm
the
in
spot.
awe of them that can get in and do ice miles and things. Like, I get in, fart about, and get out again.
Yeah,
So,
that's me too, yeah.
yeah, yeah, but Blue Lake's beautiful. We used to go there a lot when we were kids. Have a
In the introduction to the book, you talk a bit about your own swimming,
Mhm.
and you mentioned learning to swim or having lessons with a couple called Mr. and Mrs.
Oh my
Jones, which
goodness.
piqued my interest because you described them as, I always have trouble with this word, but inimitable and
Yep,
intimidating.
yep,
And I enjoyed
yep,
the alliteration of that.
yep.
You tell
That's
me a bit more about them.
they so anyone I feel like there's probably people with a 40-year range from Invercargill that will go, oh yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Like, I feel like they were ancient when they taught me, and they were probably like in their 40s. Embarrassing. But they were, yeah, they took lessons. I would have been 5, I think, when I started doing lessons with them at Conan Street Pool in Invercargill, which no longer exists, having been replaced by the very flash Splash Palace or Splash Planet or whatever it's called. So Conan Street was like a real old school pool, and I spent years years there because I played water polo for a while. But they were an older couple, and I think Mrs. Jones would teach the littlies, and then you kind of graduated to Mr. Jones. And in my head, he was quite almost slightly military, but he probably wasn't. But that was kind of in my brain. But they were strict, but really, I don't know, quite amazing teachers.
Mhm.
Amazing teachers. And I think, yeah, there'll be lots and lots of Invercargill people who remember them
Yeah,
fondly or otherwise because they were a bit scary.
so they have a legacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the book also includes health and safety advice, like,
Mhm.
what to do if you get stung by a jellyfish. And so I was curious to know, which, does happen. Um, I was
To
curious to
me
know
all the time.
if you'd had any sort of encounters with marine life, either
Yeah,
welcome encounters or otherwise that you'd be keen to
both.
share. Both. Yeah.
Both. I'm like the queen of the medusas. Like, my friends give me heaps because if they're a jellyfish, they will find me and they will sting me.
Oh no.
Actually, I think I'm probably just more sensitive to them than anybody else. So I've had some absolute shockers. I had one day I got stung in my mouth, like on my lip,
Ow.
on the inside of my lower lip. So I took some antihistamines, came home, it was fine. Had antihistamine, went to bed, woke up the next morning, and I looked like I had lip fillers. It was the
Wow.
funniest thing. It was the funniest thing. So then like, every now and then I'll show people pictures and say, "Oh, remember that time I got lip fillers?" And people who don't know me that well are like, "Oh." So, yeah, jellyfish and I, yeah, we're not really friends. But that's one of the things about swimming in, like, Te Kapo Moana, the Hauraki Gulf, is just so the marine life is amazing. The marine life is amazing. And, I mean, we've had a couple of, like, the 2023 floods particularly have really damaged the reefs, like where I swim on the North Shore beaches. But, I can go out. People that know my my Instagram, I have an ongoing series called Ship Photos of Stingrays, of well camouflaged stingrays, because I'm just obsessed with them. So, like, stingrays, beautiful, like octopus, um, just lots of fish, I'm kind of a bit obsessed with sea slugs, so I'm always taking photos of them, and just really, really cool. I've had couple of really cool dolphin encounters, which have been amazing. Um, one one day I was going out for a swim with a friend, and I, for some reason, I was at Milford Beach and looked around, and I could see all these people standing on the beach over at Castor Bay and couldn't work out what was going on. And there was 3 orca had come in, and they were teaching the calf to hunt the stingrays. So I just stayed in and watched them, and thankfully I had seen them, because I would have crossed tracks with them as I was heading out to the buoy line otherwise. So, yeah, like, just really amazing. Um, I think one of the good things about growing up down south, like, as I was saying, we used to swim out Oreti all the time, and we'd jump on our bikes after school and go out there, and there was what I believed to be, until embarrassingly recently, porpoises that we would swim with, and I found out since that they're pahu, the Hector's dolphins. Um, but we were we were sensible but reasonably fearless, because, the reality of growing up down there is that that offshore island is one of the big great white shark breeding grounds, So we kind of, and I think, having grown up with that, whether it's a respect or an understanding, I don't know, but I'm quite lucky, because I am firmly in that Jaws generation, but I've never what I mean, I'm sensible, but I've never been worried about sharks. I've seen them a couple of times when I've been, like, up at Goat Island, which is, marine reserve, so there's so much food up there that, and they're little ones. And
Yeah.
then, I've seen them Shark Alley down at Mount Maunganui, but, the clue's in the name there, so,
Yeah, that's right. That's an
you
understatement.
it's,
Yeah, that makes
I have a
sense.
good friend who I swim with, and she's quite petrified of them. And we were going up to do the uh, Paihia to Russell swim with the Ocean Swim series. We were driving, and she started talking to me about, sharks, and would there be sharks and all this. And she's a real speedster. I'm like, in a matchstick. I'm like, geez, they wouldn't get a kai out of her if they caught her. But she was terribly concerned about it. And I thought, I'm going to be helpful here. And I said, look, Ty, um, more people get, hurt or killed by cows every year than sharks. She's, without even breathing, she looked at me and went, great, now I'm scared of cows too.
Oh. Just add it to the list.
Yeah. But I
Yeah,
think,
like you say,
it's
it
just,
it makes sense that, you grew up getting in open water since you were a very young age, so
yeah,
it makes sense that it would just be sort of part of life,
yeah,
and have a healthy respect for the marine life and
absolutely. Yeah,
everything.
there are things that I'd be frightened if I saw them, when I was in the supermarket, but you see them in the sea, it's like, that's where they live.
As my swim coach Barb says, that's their home. Yeah, same
Exactly,
with fish.
exactly. I've always worked on I've had this mantra for a long time, that there's more to fear from the sharks on the land than the ones in the sea.
Very true. Yeah,
Mm,
good mantra.
mm.
So when I first bought the book, I turned straight to the pages about the Wellington beaches, because I wanted to see which ones you'd included, and whether I agreed with your choices.
Oh, yeah, well,
I
no
mean,
one
no
does.
wrong choices, but just out of curiosity. And I was very happy that you included Scorching Bay, because it's one of my
Oh,
local beaches. Beautiful.
magic. It's
Yeah.
magic.
And Days Bay was the other one
Oh,
that
yeah,
you
yeah.
included. Yeah.
When I lived in
Another two.
Wellington, I just
Yeah.
used to love getting on that ferry,
Mhm.
and especially if, because I used to, I worked in government departments and used to work weekends and stuff, and sometimes you get days off during the week. And it was, I mean, it sounds terrible, but God, I used to love getting on the ferry and going over there when I knew everyone else was at work.
Well, it makes you appreciate, being
Yeah,
outdoors, doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
absolutely. It's the best.
So were they sort of two of your favourite swim spots here? Did you swim
at other places that you liked as
Yeah,
well?
I used to
Yeah.
swim, around I can't think what it was called, around from Lyell Bay when you're going around the bays, and there's a little beach just around there called is it not Elizabeth Bay? I can't remember the name of it. It's terrible.
Princess Bay?
Princess Bay, that's it. I knew it was something royal. We got yeah, around there. I love Lyell Bay. I've got good friends that live up on the hill over around there. So there's something, I don't know. The swimming and having planes go over you is pretty cool.
It is, and you can
Yeah.
see in the winter, you can see the snow in the mountains over in the South
Yes.
Island, and you can feel
Yeah.
a little bit tough getting in the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like Wellington, I think there's just so many great spots. It's a bit like Auckland where you kind of just you can take your pick. Just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah, they're
yeah,
hard to pin down, really.
you mentioned, in Auckland that you like to swim in the Hauraki Gulf. Is that sort of close to where you live? Is that your
Yeah, I live on the North Shore, so it's about, from here to it's funny, I swim Saturday mornings with a friend. She always swims at Takapuna because she comes over the bridge, but if I'm with I've got sort of a bunch of us that have swum together for years. Used to be on Tuesdays, and then, so one afternoon a week, we tend to go for a swim and then go and have a beer. So we up at Browns Bay or Waiheke, but for myself, I'll swim at Milford or Campbell's Bay, and it's about, I don't know, a 10-minute drive from home, I suppose. So, and I think I have this funny thing. I have a very, the West Coast beaches up here, I can't read them. I don't understand what I don't understand the water.
it's wild,
So,
isn't it?
yeah,
Mm.
I'm quite intimidated by them. So I tend to if I have friends here from overseas or, quite often will take them out to Lake Wainamu, which is, out by Tahinga, like Bethel's Beach, but it's a freshwater lake in the dune system, and it's just magnificent.
Oh, that would be nice. I don't know about that
Oh,
place. Mm.
it's amazing. You sort of walk up you can walk up over the sand dunes or up the creek, and it's about, I don't know, a couple of Ks, I suppose. But just the walk's really fun, and then there's a jetty. You can either sort of get in from down on from the dunes, or you can jump off the jetty. It's about a kilometre long, I suppose. It's gorgeous.
Oh, lovely. And you
Mm.
mentioned earlier that you've done some of the ocean swim
Mhm.
series around the
Yep.
country. So you're obviously swimming a good few kilometres.
No, I haven't been the last couple of summers I haven't, but yeah, I tend to. I think I've done. I don't know. I've done pretty much all the different the Ocean Swim Series ones. I just volunteered at the Rangi Swim on the weekend. It was good fun. And so yeah, I've done all of those at Rangitoto. And I really love the river swim. So there's two that people might not know about. The hooker in Taupo, which is just so beautiful. And the Five Bridges in Hamilton, which is a 7.2 river swim, but it's equivalent to about 3K. And I think I've done both of those. I mean, I know the Five Bridges I've done about 11 or 12 times, I think. So,
Mm. I
yeah.
haven't done
So, I
them
mean,
yet, but, yeah, I have some friends who have done them, and I know the Hooker River one sells out
oh,
really
yeah, it
fast.
does. It does because it's just so gorgeous.
And
It's so gorgeous.
how does it feel being sort of pulled by the current?
I
Like, is
love
it
it.
exhilarating?
I love it. There's one point where you're quite shallow and because the water's so clear and there's stones on the bottom, and most of the time the bottom's quite kind of indistinct, but when you hit these stones and you probably I don't know how deep it is at the time, but the water's so clear, the stones are underneath you, and it's only at that point where you realise just how fast you're going. And I remember the first time I did it, I thought, "Oh, this must be what those normal people, like those speedy people, it must be like that for them all the time."
Just that feeling of
Like
coasting along.
yeah, I don't the thing with the river swims, you really don't realise when you're doing it, you have moments where you recognise how fast you're going, but most of the time you just feel like you're swimming at normal speed. They're so much fun.
Right.
So
Do you
fun.
have, do you have, like, a bucket list of swims that you would like to do?
I've got Yeah, there's a few places in New Zealand I still need to tick off. I really want to swim in there's a lake on an island in Lake Wanaka, and I'm all about that. I really want to get over to that because I like the idea of swimming in a lake on an island in a lake.
Hmm.
Um,
Is that the
uh,
Ruby Island one or
no, I don't know
island
I
further
can't
out?
remember the name of the island. Yeah, I'd love to do that ruby swim actually.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Um, there's quite a few. There's one at Ruataniwha that's that I've heard is really amazing. So
Yes.
yeah, a lot of like in terms of those ones, and I would love to do. I've done a few overseas swims. I would love to do the one of the my brain's gone. One of those ones in Turkey, the Dardanelles
Well,
or
one of the swim
the
trick ones.
Bosphorus, or but I need to get a bit fitter for that.
I
And,
read
and
somewhere that you've done the Samoa swim series.
yeah,
I
yeah, I
just,
was an
it,
OG.
yeah, I
Yeah.
talked to Susie a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was one of the OGs for that one. That was
Oh,
hilarious how
really?
I did it. I think I'd done like I might have done 2 1K swims by the time I went and did that. I just had got into it, and one of my friends messaged me and she said I had this mad year where I kind of just I had started swimming and I'd had a couple of quite rough life things happen, and I just sort of didn't I sort of reevaluating things and was just trying lots of different things. And so I had some sailing lessons and I had some flying lessons and I did all sorts of bungee jumping and zorbing and all this sort of stuff. And Astral messaged me and she said, "Oh, there's the swim series coming, starting up in Samoa. We should go." And I thought, "Oh, yeah, okay." So we booked and we're on the plane. And I said something about the series. She said, "Oh, no, I'm not swimming." She said, "I thought I might go to Savai'i." So I was like, "Oh my God," I was terrified. And it was so amazing. And SETI, I was so out of my depth and so out of my comfort zone. And, but I did. I think I did 2 or were there 4 swims and I did 3 or something. Took ages, but and Seti, I still say to him now, he looked after me so well. He was so kind to me that it was life-changing. It was
Oh, really?
absolutely, and I say that to him and he just goes, "Oh, yeah, what do you" I've met, through Samoa, I've met some of my closest friends, and I think I've done it, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. It's just one of my favorite places in the world.
Mm, that's
Mm,
cool. It's
mm.
definitely on my bucket list to do
Oh,
this
it's
series.
amazing. It's just
Yeah.
the whole like, you kind of just have pinch me moments when you're there. It's so good. Just the whole vibe of it, and yeah, brilliant.
If you this is a tricky question, but if you had to pick just one place to swim at for the rest of your life, where would you choose?
Oh my god, like one spot.
Yeah, just like one beach or one river,
Oh my goodness. Um,
and you can think about it, and we can come back to the
oh
question if you
no,
like.
you know what?
More time.
Goat Island. Goat Island.
Goat Island. Oh,
Sahawaria Goat
yeah,
Island, because
yeah,
it's just
lovely.
it's, because it's a marine reserve, it's really spectacular. I've done it in really rough conditions, which was a little bit stupid. I've done it when it's been completely flat and you can get in the caves around the back. There's this variety of kind of marine life and different, on different days it's different. One time we went up and there was just this massive pot of dolphins that we had to kind of swim. We kind of hung around for ages. Then we got in the water and this little baby dolphin just swam underneath me, and so it's like it's such a taonga for Auckland, for the whole region. Yeah,
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 yeah. I'm really looking forward to swimming there. The times I've gone there to swim at Goat Island, there's been a strong easterly. Is it the easterly wind?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
and a bit
yeah,
too wild.
yeah, yeah.
But have you been swimming with the Lee swim community? With
I have.
because
I
they're
think
in the
once or
area.
twice. Yeah, they're amazing. They're
Mm,
amazing crew, and
yeah.
just so passionate about their whole, all the places that they swim. Really welcoming. Really cater to people no matter what their ability is. They're just a
Yeah.
really awesome community of people.
Really kind and welcoming, eh?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And
When
that's
you go Oh, sorry. Yep.
I think there's a lot of places around the country. One of the things I love when I see it on social media, people say, "Oh, I'm gonna be in New Zealand or I'm gonna be in Auckland for so long. Where can I swim?" And someone will always jump in and say, "Hey, yeah, come with us," or
Yeah.
these are the people to talk to, and I love that.
When you go for a swim, what is your must-have gear that you take with you? So it could be
Um,
for during or after the swim.
mm, I'm pretty low maintenance, really. Um, I I'm kind of lucky because I have a GoPro.
Mhm.
So I always have my GoPro with me just in case.
And do you have one
Um,
of those sort of floaty sticks so you can hold
no,
the GoPro?
I just wear it on a lanyard around my neck.
Oh, well, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, just 'cause I'm a bit unco and my hair well, the problem with the lanyard around my neck, my friend Julia and I went for a swim it was a middle of winter, and I said, "Oh, I can't" neither of us could really be bothered swimming, but we were kind of in our wetsuits. I said, "Oh, let's go and jump off the wharf at Murray's Bay." Which we did, and I filmed on the GoPro, but, failed to secure the GoPro in my hand, and it popped up off my neck and dropped to the bottom of the water, and we
Oh,
had to wait.
no.
We had to wait for the tide to go out for me to dive down and get it, and
Oh, it's good that you could get it.
the footage is so funny because it's us like, 3, 2, 1, ah, blob, 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 plonk.
You're
But
lucky
yeah.
you got it back.
Oh, it was highly yeah, no, Julia gives me heaps about that. Um,
Yeah, they are little, aren't they, the little
yeah, yeah,
GoPros?
and now I've learnt that lesson.
Yeah. Well, it's all about learning and swimming,
Yeah,
right? And that
yeah,
footage you get the footage you get from, like, underwater, but also on the
yeah,
surface, like that,
yeah,
what Roger Deakin calls that frog's eye view,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing like it.
It's
Yeah.
so good, and I think it gives me a chance to share with people who don't swim something of what it is to be out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing with my terrible photos of well camouflaged stingrays and things like that. It's just things that I see. Someone said to
Yeah.
me once, "You do know you don't have to post photos every time you go and have a swim." And I was like, "I don't post photos every time I go." Like, these are just the interesting ones.
Yeah.
Trying to think what other gear. I'm a Zogs goggles girl. Um, earplugs most of the time just because
Just
'cause I've
protect
got
your ears.
yeah, I've got, misspent youth means my hearing's not great in one ear, so protect that one. Um, when I come back, I have towel hoodies in the winter, um, a large purple one that's known as Barney. Um,
Like
yeah,
the dinosaur.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, no, I'm
Yep.
not really
Don't
very
need much.
gear. I mean, I've got all the gear, it's in the boot of my car. Oh, tow float,
Right.
um, yeah, no, pretty
Cool.
low maintenance.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, you're
Yeah.
doing it a lot, so,
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
wanna faff around with it.
If I'm very organised and swimming midwinter down home, like down south, I'll take 2 towels and put a hot water bottle between them because there's
Yep.
nothing like getting out of the sea, in the deep south or getting out of a lake in the deep south in the middle of winter and having warm towels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Mm,
I was thinking about, what you said about photography and taking the stingray pictures, and because I always like to take photos after a swim, just even if it's just of the beach where I am, it's just
mm.
like a sort of visual record, isn't
Yep,
it?
yep,
It's sort of
that's
part
it.
of the ritual of swimming for me.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's something about and it sometimes surprises me the photos that people really respond to and really like, because 'cause there'll be ones that I just kind of don't think twice about. But yeah, I think I don't know, I think I like being able to kind of just share something of that space with people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you're an author of a swim book. Um, as a reader, do you have favourite swim books that you enjoy?
Um,
Or are you too busy actually
no.
swimming? books about swimming.
I'm terrible because 'cause I'm too busy writing it. Like,
Right?
I write so much that oftentimes at the end of the day, my brain just goes, "Nah." I've got one sitting by my bed that I love, and I cannot for the life of me think of the name of it, which a friend of mine bought me, and it's
Sorry,
got
you can
something about
describe it if you want.
it's something oh, no, it's gone out of my head. It's a woman in the UK who her husband's really ill, and so she it's not like I found it's something like I found my tribe or something like that, and it's
That
absolutely
sounds
gorgeous, and
that sounds
it's that thing of the ritual of swimming and the community around swimming and that health stuff, like, for me at the moment, like, I'm on quite a big deadline and I just get quite stressed, and physically I just go, "Right, I just need to get my gear and go for a swim," because being in the cold water really just
it's a reset, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So, it's a lot of that stuff. I'm not so much into I have not really into rituals, but when I swim in the Hauraki Gulf or anywhere anytime I swim and I can see it on Rangitoto, I always just have this little moment where I just kind of go, "Thank you." You know,
Right.
it's that. And whether it's thanking the entity that is Rangitoto or whether it's just a moment of gratitude for being able to swim and live in this place where we can do this. It's
Yeah.
just yeah, I just that's probably my only little swim ritual, I think.
I can relate to that. Yeah, feel like that gratitude's really
Mm,
important. You know,
mm, mm.
appreciate where we are and what we're doing
Oh,
and
yeah, especially when, I spend a lot of time in Europe and stuff, and the fact that you've got to pay to go to the beach in places, and it's just so difficult to access. In the UK, it's really difficult to access rivers and things where we just have that without thinking about it, and I think it makes it even more important to look after it.
yeah.
Which is why, I love what John O'Riddler's been doing his whole kaupapa about, just getting rid of the bottom trawling and looking after our waterways. Same with a lot of like one of the things that was cool about working on this book was that there's so much around the rivers, degradation of rivers, and it is a real problem. I've got one of the rivers that I used to swim in all the time as a kid. I wouldn't even put my feet in now because it's just so degraded. One of the cool things about working on this was the number of places I found where people are really just working together to rehabilitate their waterways and have brought them back to swimmable and clean. And I think that, there's some real good stories of hope around that in that space in there too, which was really great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm.
This is a question that's only just occurred to me, but did writing the book change your relationship with swimming?
Um, you know what? It kind of did. Um, in terms of when I go, like, if I'm traveling, I'm one of those people that tends to get in the car and just go and get there. And now I'm much more like I've always got my togs in the car, and I'd always planned to swim where I was going, but now I'm way more likely to stop along the way and have a swim, which before
That's
I didn't really do.
that's
Um,
really cool. I like that.
there were 2 places in like, around because I feel like I've swum because I grew up down south, I because and swimming around the South Island a lot. It was interesting that it was places in the North Island that kind of changed that for me, and I guess it's around those places that because it's not familiar here in the North Island. But the 2 places that changed that for me were, the Blue Springs at, near Putararu, which are tapu and you can't swim there.
Yeah.
But about a few kilometres up the road, there's a massive big swimming hole in that river, in the Waihau River, that you can swim in. Holy God, it's freezing. It is epic. It is epic. It is so beautiful. The water is so clear that, like and it's, like, near Putararu, which I would drive through all the time going down to, if I'm going down to Taupo or Rotorua, it's right there. So cool. And then the other one was in the Whakapapa River, which is just there's this big, um, bush reserve just out of Ōwhango, which is just south of Taumarunui. And the Whakapapa River is beautiful, straight off the mountain, as the name suggests. And there's this gorgeous, like, it was only a really short walk through the bush along to this. The locals have looked after this amazing piece of native bush, and there was a path, walk down there, and there's a swimming hole in the river that the locals had built this little area, I guess for kids or like to get in, which was sort of had rocks around it. Got in there, and I'm in the water, and I look, and there were 5 whio just
Wow.
down the river from me. When you
Yeah.
think that these birds are rarer than the North Island kiwi,
Mm.
uh, to see 5 of them in one go,
Yeah, in the wild, not in
like,
a bird sanctuary as
look,
well. Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
just right there, it tells you that, because 'cause they're torrent ducks, it tells you that that river is really healthy, that the ecosystem is in balance, and that whatever work is being done in terms of controlling predators is really working. And it
yeah.
was just like everything kind of just fell into, like like all these different factors kind of fell into. I've got goosebumps just thinking
Yeah,
about
I
it.
know, me too,
So
yeah, it's
good. It was
exciting. Yeah,
so good, and it was just that thing of, "Oh, I'll go and have a look." Just that I'll stop and have a look when I'm on my way somewhere else.
yeah, and
So I
just that
think,
serendipity of it, right?
yeah, yeah. So it's made me more likely to just stop and suss places out.
Yeah, and not just have a plan and going to the
Oh, yeah, I'm
destination,
shocking for
but
that.
yeah.
It's like I've gotta get somewhere.
This isn't swim related, but when I was preparing for this chat, I discovered your book. Is it Who Lived
Who
Here?
lived there? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Who Lived There, and,
Yeah,
so stories of, different houses around New Zealand or buildings and
historic
the
buildings.
yeah, historic buildings and the people who live there, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited to read that because I love social history too.
Right. Well, it was an interesting one, that one, because it was initially sort of, we talked about it being sort of very famous buildings, and famous people, and actually when I dug into it, they weren't necessarily very interesting stories, and so some of these are quite humble places. But the people whose lives have, and they haven't necessarily lived there. It's like people whose lives have intersected with the building in an interesting way. Um, Whether that's through being involved with the building of it, or through just all sorts of the way that they intersected, and I tried to kind of bring those buildings alive with the stories of those people. And I think I'm quite lucky with, and it's the same with this book. There's a few of the books that I've worked on where I can just write them in my own voice, and I really love that, where I can just I did a book called, Let's Get Lost, which was sort of New Zealand road trips, and my uncle, bless him, said to me, I thought it was all right, but really it was just you kind of traveling around and wanging on about swimming and pies. And I just
What's wrong
thought,
with
I was
that?
like, yes,
That's
yes,
the point, yeah.
that's exactly what it is.
You need to put that quote on the cover of the
I'm not sure there's that many
oh,
pies
funny.
in the swim book, but there might be.
Um, a couple of weeks ago here for Anzac Day, we had our annual, Anzac Day swim where we remember, Sir Bernard Freyberg, who
Oh,
for the
yes.
sake of the pool and the beach,
Mm,
and he
mm,
did a heroic swim in the
yes.
night during World War One, and yeah, so I was gonna ask you, like, you're interested in swimming and you're
Yep,
interested in history. Are you
yep.
interested in the intersection between the 2,
Yes,
swim
for a
history?
book that I've got coming out at Christmas, I just revamped some things because there was something that had been sitting on me that I'd wanted to include and hadn't, and then at the last minute, I managed to pull it and change it, where I've written a piece about Meta Mackenzie.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Because when I was about, I think I would have been about, I don't know how old I was when she did that double cross, was it the double crossing, or when she was the youngest, the first New Zealand woman to do the Cook Strait crossing, I think it was. And I remember hearing it on the radio and being just so inspired by that, because she was 16 or something. And I did a speech about it.
Hmm.
Like, I think it was at school, or so I love that New Zealand history of, And I think some of the Māori stories of, Hanemoa and some of those the Cook Strait stories and stuff, so cool. So
Yes.
cool. And I think there's something really because we can swim in those same bodies of water, you do think about those people and what they've achieved and just how amazing it must be.
Yeah, exactly.
Just yeah.
There's so many good stories out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Lovely.
Hmm.
I just noticed, we've been talking for almost an hour. It's gone so quickly.
Yes. It really has.
Is there anything you want to discuss or raise that we haven't already talked about?
Um, well, I think one of the things with the book that I kind of like, there's one of the things I have included places where there's options to do longer swims and, for people that want to get out and have a hit out. But I really wanted to make it kind of, like I said, I really wanted to make it accessible. I think one of the things that I would love is to see it like really dinged up in people's cars, where, but rather than it, because like people have said to me, it's such a good coffee table book. And I'm like, cool. Can you just smash it up and put it in your car? But the other thing that I would love the book to do is to make particularly like anybody, but particularly women who used to swim or might want to swim but haven't got the confidence to get out there and just get in the water. Um, Nothing makes me sadder than when I hear people sort of say, "Oh, I'd love to go with the kids, but I don't want to get in my togs or whatever."
Yeah.
Like I just think if I can do it, anybody can. And it's so, for a lot of years living in Auckland, before I got really back into swimming, I would go to the beach and swim kind of late in the day, like even at night sometimes, because I felt that exact same way, and I find it kind of slightly alarming and a little bit hilarious that I'll happily wander around in togs and I just don't care. But
Yeah.
I think that fear is what I realise now is when I thought that people were concerned about what I was doing, they were not thinking about me at all. Most of the time, they were worrying about their own stuff.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
when the odd time when people did say, I remember, the odd time when people would say things to me, it really impacted me. Whereas if they did it now, I'd just be like, oh, that's a you problem,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I had a quite funny I had a quite I was down at the beach. There's quite a few years ago. And some young guys sort of like, call Greenpeace, there's a whale," or some, really and there was a time when that would have really, really battered me, and I was just in a really bad mood, and I just walked up to him and I went, "Righto, mate," said, "Which one of you, you and me out there over 2K, whoever wins can just stand here and say what they like to the other person. Which one of you wants to take me on?"
That's awesome.
They both just turned around and left.
Oh, what a
They'll
surprise.
I think they'll think twice before doing it again. But, I would love for people to, maybe for the book to just get people a bit motivated to just go
Give
and
it a go.
and
Yeah.
and swim in some of these places, just even if it's just going for a paddle, and because that connection with the water is just so, just healing, and, there's something just on that really deep level that's just so good.
Yeah. It feels
So
really good. So, yeah, good for mental health, all sorts of
yeah.
benefits.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So
And it's in
interesting.
like, one of the things I love is quite often when I'll go for a swim, like at the moment, just about every time I go for a swim, someone will say, "Oh, what's the water like?" And you end up having a bit of a chat with them and
Mm,
just having a yarn. And I think that the connection that comes from that, it might be someone just at the beach having a walk or whatever, but that connection's really nice too,
yeah.
and that just having a chat about how lucky we're
There
to
you
have this
are.
cool place,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I think
Exactly.
you just don't know when that can change a day for people too. So there's
Yeah.
lots of positives that come out of it.
It opens people up, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've had some really cool conversations with people just, But then there's a tipping point when it gets really cold, and that's when you notice people kind of veering away from you because they think you're really insane.
Right. Yeah, right. And you start get called, being called brave. People are like, "Oh,
Oh,
you're brave."
yes, always
But they sort of
brave.
keep a bit of a distance as
Yeah.
if, like, you're sort of a bit of a swamp monster emerging from the water, like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. "Oh, you're so brave." And I'm always just like, "Yeah, no, not really."
Yeah.
It's like, brave is the people that are around me when I haven't been for a swim.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and my family love it when I go for a swim because I come
Yeah,
home, I'm happy,
yeah,
chill, yeah.
yeah,
I was thinking
yeah.
about what you said about, books and, like, you wanting people to engage with your book and put it in
Mm,
the car and use it,
mm,
right?
mm.
Because I sort of feel like people fall into two camps with books. People like love to keep books pristine and they show it
Yes.
as a sign of respect, like you don't deface a book. And then
Yeah,
there's others who are like marking up pages and folding corners and putting it in the
yeah,
boot. And
yeah.
like what's my books, as in the books I've written. I love it when people put markings,
Oh,
and circle things and highlight
yeah.
because it shows they're really engaged with it.
Engage with it. That's it.
And I
That's it.
I I tend to do that too in books I own. I hasten
Yeah,
to add, not library books, but,
yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
there's
just
nothing worse
interesting
than someone
how
else,
how the sort of 2 groups, yeah.
get
But I
someone
get
marked
what you're
up a
saying
library
about,
book.
just put it in the car, like
Yeah, yeah, nothing makes me happier than, if I see, people say, "Oh, yeah, we chucked it in the car," and some friends of mine in Wellington actually said, that they'd taken, done a roadie around the South Island and they'd taken it with them, and I love that because that becomes part of their story, becomes part of the adventure that they have, and I think there's just something quite cool about that. It gives the book another life.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
yeah, well, I have to start planning my own road trip with your book. I mean,
Yeah,
you've got
yeah, yeah.
so many waterways I have to see now. I'll link to the book in the episode description so people
Brilliant.
can go and buy it. Is there a website you'd most like me to link to, like
Um,
publisher or Amazon or anything?
uh, no, I love
Anywhere that sells it.
I always recommend that people, um, and, buy it from whatever bookshop you can find it, but if you've got a small independent local bookshop, we love
Support your
supporting
local
them.
bookshop. Yeah,
I'm very
definitely.
lucky to have the gorgeous book lover here at Milford, which I love. So, yeah,
Yeah,
independent, and the independent booksellers have been super supportive. They've been amazing. In fact,
yeah.
some of the chain ones have too, so I guess it's when you get people that just get it.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, but
Cool.
no, wherever anyone wants to, if they wanna buy it, cool. If you wanna get it from the library, that's cool too.
Library's cool too. Yeah, and
Yeah,
people don't always know that New Zealand authors get a bit of money from having
that
their
we
books
do.
in the library.
We
Yeah.
love
So
that.
you're
Yeah,
still supporting
yeah,
authors by getting a
yeah.
book out of the library. Yeah.
That and also, I don't know about other ones, but I know the Auckland Library, if they have a certain number of holds on it, because the copies are out, then they have to buy another copy. So
Yeah.
don't ever be afraid to put a hold on a New Zealand
The
book,
more
because
hops, the
sometimes it
better.
means they'll buy more.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been great
Thanks.
to meet
Oh,
you. And if you're ever in Wellington, give me a shout and we'll
yeah,
go for a swim.
definitely. Definitely. Yes. I've got I'm well overdue a trip to Wellington, actually. Well
Oh,
overdue. So
oh, there you go.
definitely, that'll be fun.
We can go to Scorching Bay.
Yes. Oh, I love it there so much.
Thanks for listening to Swim Chats. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it with a friend or two. Also remember to hit follow to be notified when I post new episodes. To help other people discover the podcast, you can rate and review it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. If you're a regular listener, please visit patreon.com/swimchats to support the pod. Enjoy the water and we'll see you next time.